the EKGC team for inviting me. It's a very pertinent question that's been put up in terms of how the financing is panning out for renewables across the country. I think one quite for renewables are getting financed in the country, and it's a very large industry today. Especially if you look at solar and wind. We're talking about an industry that has an annual outlay of at least close to a 1 lakh crore kind of ticket size. So for that kind of investment that's going into building new infrastructure, I think the contribution of PSU banks that needs to be changed over the next few years. But I think it's a function of what the priorities are also at the government level. So I think there are multiple things which I think we are not able to see as industry fellows. At times we believe ours is the most important thing, and government needs to sort of give it priority and sort of fund it. But I think there are quite a lot of other reasons as well why that's not being possible. But that said, I think over the last few years, what's more happening is the government has reached out on every platform possible, not in India, but obviously globally, and they have tried to make this issue of the developed world wanting to basically make all the developing countries stop polluting, but not paying for it, a big issue. Right? So if you look at all of the recent large sort of obligations, whether it was the attended to by countries like India, or at least on side notes, we've always made it a point to raise this issue because a lot of the funding in the world for this kind of lake is sitting with the developed world. And by developed world, there are a few Western countries who hold that. I think that whole sort of difference in who has the resources vis-a-vis who has the natural resources to actually put these sort of installations up is sort of not in a fine balance at the moment. But I think the government is actively doing the work. But I think there are limitations in the case also on.
Supporting to a certain extent, but yes, we are expecting more support from the government point of view so that really this can scale up to the larger extent so that more and more dependency on these non-conventional energy sources could be there, so that conventional energy sources could be can be relaxed, because we know that by certain 2050 or so, coal is going to be exhausted also, and then how we can take care of such a high demand. And then as you can see that electric vehicle already becoming a buzzword to a real world, where we are seeing the vehicle on the road, and then although it's becoming a imagination for everyone that everyone can have an electric vehicle and who can drive, he or she can drive. But yes, there are many challenges on the way. The battery is the biggest challenge, and you have heard very recently Jammu, under the earth crust of Jammu and Kashmir belt, we have around 5.9 million ton lithium we have received. So that can suddenly really push or scale up this particular battery manufacturing within India, because we largely depend upon China, both in PMB DC motor, because permanent magnets under the earth crust is mostly available in China. So they have a monopoly. Basically, more than 80 to 85% the PMB DC motor have been imported from China only. So that's why that monopoly has to be taken care, and that this particular, you can say, lithium, the abundance which is available very recently could really help and scale up this battery manufacturing with a better power density and energy density. So with this, I think because of the time limitation, there are more questions could be taken, but I would like to give an opportunity to the audience, the intellectual audience here in the academic arena. So I would expect that I can take, I think, further around 6 to 7 questions. So because again, due to the time constraint, so I think we can take the question. So please raise your hand. Yes, please. From this side, we will take 4 questions from this side, 4 questions from this side, so that one cannot feel that we could not have got the other opportunity. Yeah, please. You please mention the whom you would have addressing the question, if you can.
Myself, Dr. Sarika. Dr. Ashish sir. So my question is, how these power converters are play an important role in development of the electric vehicles, and what are the drawbacks which is associated with this converters, power converters?
Okay, well, as the madam also said that power electronics converter plays important role. I can tell you there are 5 different motors these days.
Importantly, in development of the electric vehicles.
Fine. I'm only focusing on the electric vehicle because this is my core area as well. There are 5 different motors are being used currently. The first is the PMBLDC motor, which has, as I said, the largely dependency on the China. The second is your PMSM, permanent magnet synchronous motor. Third is 3-phase induction motor. Fourth one is switch reluctance motor, and the fifth one is the synchronous reluctance motor. And Tesla is taking to avoid the monopoly of China. He is Tesla 3, the vehicle which they are going to develop and then launch. That is by switch synchronous reluctance motor. So in these motors, we need to have a control of the power flow. And whenever you have to control of the power flow, because you have to gearing mechanism, you have a different gear, that can be done with the power electronics converter only. And then you can have AC to DC converter depending upon the requirement, which motor you are selecting. If you can have a DC to AC inverter. So you can have a bi-directional power flow as well. That is called regenerative braking system also you can have, so that it can charge the battery, because battery would be required during the running system also you can have a charging of the battery. And in the current arena, there are many technologies are coming where paints have been coming up. Whole body of the car will be painted and that can be worked as a solar panel. So the charging of the battery can be done that way. So then whenever solar is being involved, or the battery charging, again the power electronics good converter will be involved, because you have to raise the level of the power. The solar panel can generate a very low voltage. So you have to uplift the voltage level, for which you have to use a boost converter, and then you have to control the current flow. So you can make a constant current. Because now the current rating is 3.1 ampere to 3.5 ampere. Earlier it was 1.2 ampere only. So, but in that case, both must be capable. Battery must be able to handle that much amount of current, and at the same time, your charger must also, or the supply must also deliver that much amount of current. So it's basically ampere hour. That's why in the battery of the electric vehicle also, for charging of the battery, fast charging, you need to have a more current capacity. That's why there are 3 levels of charging. AC level 120 volt, AC level 220 volt, then a direct DC charging, where current goes up to 500 to 600 ampere, where you can charge hardly in 1 hour or so. So that's why for controlling the power flow, power electronics is very much required.
So what about in permanent magnet synchronous motor? They is using the cyclo converter in.
No, not cyclo. It's basically you have to use.
So how we change the speed like in PMSM, permanent magnet synchronous motor?
In PMSM, we have 3-phase inverter, and that inverter is controlled using control algorithms. And triggering of those 6 devices which are there in inverter is such that the required frequency is generated out of that inverter, and that frequency is responsible for speed control.
Thank you.
You can refer 3-phase voltage source invert. How you have to 6 devices would be there. How do you have to design a control mechanism?
Thank you. Thank you.
Next question, please, maybe from this side, so that we can have a balance. This side audience, no question? So then, again, this side, if any question from this side, yeah, please.
Myself, Dr. Sandeep Gupta.
Please,
Assistant
you can
Professor.
stand up.
Yes, sir. Myself, Dr. Sandeep Gupta, Assistant Professor in AGEC. As we all know, the world is trying to switch from renewable, non-renewable to renewable sources. As we are switching, we are discussing here green energy. We are discussing, fuel cell. We had discussed biomass. So my question is to Professor A.B. Singh Gupta, sir, that what are the barriers that to adopt the this non-renewable energy technologies? So, may I know what are the major barriers? Thank you.
The non-renewable energy technology or the renewable?
Sir, basically renewable, sir.
See, obviously, I think already it has been pointed out that one of the major barriers is the investment. So we need proper investment. Again, see, as on date, India is having approximately 409, 410 gigawatt of installed capacity, generating capacity. where we have renewable of around 160, 167 gigawatt of renewable integrated as on date. Government of India has a very, exhaustive plan of integrating. We have a solar capacity itself of more than 700 gigawatt. We have wind capacity of nearly 700. So, but there are two major barriers, one obviously is integrating those all those things in the control center. Maybe you are aware that we have renewable energy monitoring system. We have REMCs installed. We have 13 REMCs as on date in India, which are either installed in one of the state load dispatch centers or the regional load dispatch centers. We have 4 REMCs in Grid India control centers and rest in different states, mostly in the south and western belt. Whenever you are integrating a renewable, be it solar, be it wind, so the variable nature of this specific generation, so we have to have a very very specific thing. We have to have a very strong monitoring of this and forecasting. Now, near accuracy results, but we cannot rely for a base load on till date on these renewables. But the bigger challenge is as these renewables are really distributed. And now if think of having a large number of say rooftop solars in India. Now these are really distributed. So again integrating those to the control center to have a proper mechanism of monitoring is the biggest challenge. Where obviously again those controls on cyber security, how the accuracy of the data will be evaluated. So things are working. We are working on that. It's not exactly that due to this technical barrier renewables are not getting integrated. There are some other economic factors, government initiative factors, all of it. But if you from my side, being a cybersecurity sort of a professional, I see these barriers only the biggest challenge for integration of the renewable.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yes, next question please. Let's take from this side to make a little balance. One hand has been raised, so please.
Good evening all. I am Devan, final year student of IMS Engineering College, Garjewal. So sir, my question is regarding cybersecurity. Sir, being a developer, I want to ask that is it to develop such an algorithm or such a system that will automatically shut down the server if any suspicious activity or unexpected activity took place on our design system, or you can say website, software, or any type of application?
Actually, sir, if you can take this.
Yeah, definitely that is the approach should be. But exactly what happens that many times due to some other issues we bypass. That is what Mr. Sen Gupta pointed out, that is the human intervention overrides the machine intelligence.
Sir, if there is not any type of physical attack, I am just talking about everything happens virtually.
Yeah, that is the way how the cyber system, they develop the attack in such a way that the most of the activity seems to be genuine activity. So it becomes very difficult to 100% isolate the phishing activity or the activity and that is the malicious activities and regular activity. So it is the challenge how. So it is only that one thing happens, then the remedial measures comes in there. But definitely the physical codes can be developed which can block the known phase of cyber attacks, but not what is there in the future.
Actually, sir, in the current scenario, the current companies are asking that in any case, our server must not be down. It must be live for all the time, for 24/7. Whatsoever.
See, whatever you are saying, suppose you are saying a scenario when the operating system is detecting any sort of malicious activity or any sort of we should say deviation from the normalcy. It will act and shut down. Now there is a problem, there is a challenge in the industry to do this. Obviously your solution will work in certain areas, but most of the industrial control systems in industry, suppose automation, you are running certain PLCs, you are running say certain monitoring systems. And if that suddenly trips, if that suddenly shut down, then there could be some other cascading event. There could be some other challenge in the monitoring. So it's always not right that to eliminate one malicious system or one malicious program, you disrupt the entire functioning of that server, because that server may be, directly working in a critical infrastructure where availability of the server is also equally important. Now, say in control center, we are observing data in 250 milliseconds per interval. We are having 400 samples per second data in PME. So we have to take a balanced approach in that. We have to, maybe in some places where the criticality of availability is not that high, we can adopt this type of technology. But mostly we will try to eliminate the cause, not all those attributes of the functions which are running fine. So it's mostly the antivirus, all those applications try to quarantine the malicious system and try to run the rest of the thing, not fully shut down.
So sir, ultimately, what is the simple solution for this?
No, it's a, see, the entire problem is very complex, so if you are asking for a very simple solution, it won't work. There is no such simple solution, multiple, basically, control mechanism. So, when you design the control mechanism, you will go through the standards also. Standards suggest for more than 200 control mechanisms. Why? If there is one single solution, then they won't suggest that. So there are multiple layers of control mechanism, and depending on the criticality, depending on your risk assessment, we all do risk assessment. Depending on the risk assessment, you have to select the control mechanism and apply.
Basically, you are expecting that zero accident on road, which is not possible. That would be there, but you need to be careful while driving. But an accident can happen by any means, mistake of others also, you can be victim of the accident. So that way, you can be only careful. So I think with this, we could not able, because of the limitation of the time, we could not able to take further questions. So sorry for this. Now, on my personal behalf and on behalf of the organizing team, I thank all the panelists here for sharing their valuable resources, their knowledges, and sharing with this gathering on this particular platform. Okay, fine. Please.
I am Dr. Pallav Biswas, head of mechanical engineering. So you told that we should be balanced actually. So
That balance you are okay.
So out of
it should not be unbalanced.
This is a question that is out of the blue, that advancements and the key challenges in green energy and computing we are doing. But my question is to Mr. Iyer, that from business perspective, how do you foresee that when we are actually shifting to green energy? Because we are working on green energy on a very whatever skills I don't know, but the other energies are also being utilized. So it should not happen that green energy don't surpass them, and slowly the non-renewable is getting out of our hand. Incur in getting the green energy into this. That's the simple question, and
I think it's a very good question right at the client. I think if you see what the government has announced, the recent COP, it also announced when we are going to net zero as a country. So eventually that's the ultimate equilibrium. We're talking about 2070, I think it's very far away. But I don't think it's going to take until 2070. Although that's sort of a stretch. I think that's also taking into account a lot more of development that we are factoring in. And probably about a decade or two of, let's say, close to 10% annual growth. My sense is that it will happen much faster and much earlier than I think the timelines that the government has set. Simply because I think the whole world is, you see the kind of, sort of geopolitical move that is happening on a yearly basis. It's very clear with the kind of crisis that you have, the European region, what's happening because of that elsewhere in the world. I think there is an urgent need to move. A classical example is Europe, right? They had very similar sort of relaxed outcomes and relaxed, world views. So 2 years back, if you went into Europe and if you talk to, somebody in the bar sector in Germany or Spain or Netherlands, they'll come and say that, green is happening, but then we'll see when we become net zero. And they would also shy away from giving long-term contracts to the green procurement, green power procurement. The situation reversed in a matter of 1 year. When the war started, the same utilities were scrambling to buy more power, bulk power, not on short term but on long term basis. So it's the reverse of what we are seeing elsewhere in the world. But technically what happens is, beyond a point, even in India, it's happening right now. There is sort of a fatigue for governments to sign long-term contracts because the power prices keep falling on renewables as you keep discovering the cost drops. So Europe also had a very similar strategy. And therefore what they did is they said, let's see how the cost drop. Because obviously the costs in Europe are slightly higher than elsewhere in terms of producing the same green power. But then one crisis that came in about a year back, and they've gone back to a very different mode. So now they're clamoring for more and more green power purchases, but they're not finding them in the market. Because they are maybe about 20 years behind on the build compared to the kind of demand that's created in 2 years. So now the world is watching this example. Now whatever is happening in Europe, I think this serves as a classical example for the world that somebody else can, tomorrow shut off your oil tap, or tomorrow can shut off maybe access to whatever you have as fossil fuels. And as a country which is importing $300 billion worth of petroleum imports every year, we are also in the same market. So I think the faster we move towards alternative fuels, which I think the government is actually doing well with all these new missions that are announced, including I think green hydrogen mission, which I think singularly could probably change and possibly put us in pole position. First time in I would say the last 200 years, having a fuel with which we can control the world. Now that is something that I think the whole industry should look to. But I think this is where we are headed. I don't think 2070 is going to happen. I think it's much earlier than that. Maybe a couple of more Ukraine crises, and you will see this happening in 15 years' time.
Thank you so much. I think you might have to receive your answer.
I am very happy because it always worries me when the coals are being used. So we're not giving anything for the next generations.
Addressed by our families. Here, I'm remembering a quote that the word is in the middle of a huge transition. That we have to move from fossils to renewables very quickly. It is very well said by some expert. So I was just going with the discussion and remembering this quote. So here the session is concluded by the Ashish sir and very well moderated by sir. So here, as a token of appreciation for our panelists, I would request Professor Chopra sir to kindly present Thank you, sir. So in the next, I request Professor Pandey sir to please present a memento for Prerna ma'am as a token of respect for her valuable time and inputs towards this session. Now I request Kapoor sir to present a token of gratitude to A. Singh Gupta sir. Thank you, sir. Here, I would like to call Professor Ashif sir to kindly present a memento to Mr. Vish Iyer. Now I would like to request Professor I.P. Sharma sir, Dean Examinations, AKTEC, to present a token of gratitude to Mr. Ashish Srivastava sir. Here, on behalf of the Electrical and Electronics Department, I would like to say many thanks to Dr. Ashish sir for moderating and managing this session magnificently, and as well as helping out in our conference. Thank you very much, sir. And Big round of applause to all of the panelists.
खत्म होगा 5 मिनट का ब्रेक